Hi, I'm Tony Alva from Santa Monica, California, and we're here in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and you're watching MTV Sports.
O MTV Sports chega ao seu 10º episódio e para hoje preparamos um programa um pouco diferente. Trocamos uma ideia com o primeiro e mais original rockstar que o skate já viu, de Dogtown, Califórnia, Tony Alva.
O X Games, Tony Hawk, Mega Ramp e até mesmo algumas de suas roupas favoritas não existiriam se não fosse por Tony e os integrantes do Zephyr Team que revolucionaram o skate nos anos 70 com a sua atitude e manobras trazidas do surf e levaram o esporte ao nível jamais imaginado.
So Tony, we want to just briefly talk a little bit about the Z-Boys and how was the birth of the Zephyr team?
We came from a surfing team that was a competition team called the Zephyr Competition Team, and it was mostly guys that were older than the guys that I started the skateboarding team with. It was Jeff Ho and Skip Engblom were the guys that ran the surf shop, and we wanted to surf for their team. So another way to get on the team was that we started skateboarding after we were surfing, cross-training for surfing, and they noticed that we were pretty good skateboarders, and there was an opportunity to not only put together a team that surfed and skated, but eventually started traveling outside of our area, which was the west side of Los Angeles, in Santa Monica and Venice area, to different competitions that were in Southern California. We started out that way as a competition team on the road, skateboarding. We really skated like we surfed. Like exactly how we surfed was exactly what we were going to do on the skateboards. We'd go out and do the same turns, staying low to the ground, going really fast. The way we held our upper body with the lower body was all based around like a style like a Larry Bertleman. All of these surfers that we looked up to was what we were emulating on wheels in front of the judges. And they knew what we were doing, but they didn't know how to judge it.
And Skip said that like on your first competition, that as the Z-Boys showed up, it was like a hockey team entering the figure skating contest. How was this first contact? What did people think? Do you think you made a good first impression?
No, not really. They thought we were a bunch of punk kids, just a bunch of scumbags, you know, from like LA and stuff. We were like pretty rough, talked like really aggressively. We used a lot of 4-letter words. You know, it was just basically we were outcasts from the beginning. Our only rule was to go out and skate 100% aggressively and as proficiently as we could. That was the only rule. The moment that came when we knew something was different and it was going to change was when Jay went out there and was the first guy to skate.
Yeah, he was.
Then we were like looking at each other going like, you know, it's like we started going like, we're going to kick these guys' asses like, straight up. We were like, this is it.
He never even did before.
Well, we knew, we saw Jay and we just go, he just killed him. You know, we were like, how are they going to compete with that? We were like, he just completely annihilated the competition. You know? But we started pretty much winning every contest that we entered.
Na década de 70, a Califórnia sofreu uma das maiores secas já registradas da história.
Com diversas piscinas vazias, foram as mentes criativas de algumas crianças que enxergaram uma possibilidade que nenhum arquiteto jamais havia previsto: andar de skate dentro desta onda interminável. Era esse o começo do skate vertical.
We were good at finding the pools and emptying them, you know, and a lot of times even if we had to trespass to get in, if it was a really good pool, we didn't care, you know, we'd just go in, regardless of whether the law said no or whatever, you know. So we get chased out a lot. We get chased out by the dogs, by the owners, by like security, by the police. You know, we had helicopters coming over looking, chasing us sometimes. You know, but we always kind of had a plan, you know, like we had a way to get in. And just like I said with the contest, we had a way to get out. We had to, you know, we knew even from the first contest that we're going to break in, but you know what? We might have to break out. So we're jumping over the bars, going through the fences, running through the houses, whatever it took.
Have you ever been invited to a pool party where there was actually water in the pool And you swam on it.
Yeah, there's a couple friends of mine that have some really beautiful pools, and they don't...
With water inside.
Yeah.
As like you said, you were 19, you were starting your own company, you was the skateboarder of the year, just won your first world title, and I think you said that sometime in this area of time that I want to travel the world now, and I want to get laid every night.
Yeah.
Did you manage to do it, man?
Got close to it, but there was a lot of mismanagement as well. I mean, you know, when I was a young man, I made a lot of mistakes, but I also did a lot of good things too. You mentioned some of the good things.
Who was the coolest person for you that said for you, you rock, man, like when you were young, that you wasn't expecting?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. It might be... There's a guy, basically, I guess the one guy that really, like, I was stoked that I got accreditation from when I was a young kid was Jeff Ho.
Jeff Ho.
You know, and just to have him just... Because even later in life, whenever Jeff gives me a compliment, or, like, because we do a lot of things together where I accepted an award for being in the Hall of Fame, you know, Skateboarding Hall of Fame, and afterwards Jeff came up to me and complimented me on my words and what I had to say, and that was huge. That's huge because, you know, he's like a big brother to me and was a father figure when I was at a very young age. And I think that really like made my, you know, my heart and my soul feel like I'd really made progress.
Com a volta dos campeonatos e a inserção do skate nas principais revistas e meios de comunicação da época, os Z-Boys foram alçados ao posto de verdadeiros rockstars, atraindo multidões aonde iam e vivendo o que eles chamariam de férias eternas.
Com o crescimento do esporte, o antigo e unido Zephyr Team se separou e cada um seguiu o seu rumo. Foi a pedido de Dino, um amigo que estava em seu leito de morte, que os Z-Boys se reuniram mais uma vez para suas últimas sessões no chamado Dog Bowl.
No Dog Bowl, eles puderam finalmente andar em paz e elevaram o nível do esporte mais uma vez.
It was beautiful. The only sad part was that our friend Dino was dying, and that was kind of like a sad note because the pool was ridden momentarily before he left us. You know, the skateboarding in the pool and all that was at another all-time high. We all felt like we had some sort of success. Some of the guys in competition, other guys in just marketing and getting photographs in magazines. And, you know, there was a lot of like a celebration, you know. It was a bit of a celebration of not only one of our favorite places to skate, but a celebration of life. And I think that for us to all reunite and be able to do it on our own terms, and skateboarding is for us it's an expression of the way that we lived our lives, and we like to it's like a dance, you know, but an abstract art at the same time. So it was basically a bunch of artists together just expressing themselves, and it was a really beautiful thing, but, you know, a little sadness in it too.
When you skated all together, you think you were this team, everybody skated better?
Back in the 70s, yeah. I think the Zephyr team was probably the best skateboarding team there'll ever be. I don't think there'll ever be a team as naturally talented as the Zephyr team, and especially Jay Adams back in the day when he was a kid. Just a natural talent that just, what he did is just no thinking, just spontaneously and organically doing, staying in the moment, exactly. We're back to staying in the moment, you know?
And what was back then at the Dog Bowl, when you landed the first frontside air and changed skateboard history forever, yeah? And what we really want to know here is, was you trying to land it, like, was a goal for you? You wanted to really, you knew it was possible and wanted to land it?
Definitely, but I didn't know basically what a big influence that it would have on the whole skateboarding world. I started hitting the lip so hard and grabbing the rails that eventually I knew I was going to pop out, but I didn't know if I could land it. But then when I started landing it, because the Dog Bowl was such a nice transition and such a beautiful pool, and the coping was a little bit loose, so I was kind of hitting and it was throwing me out. Eventually I just let go and landed it, and mostly my friends were blown away because I knew I could make it. It's just a matter of time. I'm going to make it. I kept telling myself, just keep trying because you're going to make it. And then when I landed, most of my friends were like, did you see what he just did? They're like, oh my God. They're like, he just landed, like flew in the air and landed it. And like, that's what led to other attempts and variations. Because Jay was trying to do aerials at about the same time. There was a couple other guys that were trying by flying out, but my technique, again, we back to technique. My technique with the tuck knee and front side, I could see where to land it and where I was going to go. It was just a matter of keep trying until you land it, you know. We were always pushing each other competitively by just unspoken, you know, just by doing what we were doing. But, you know, once I started landing and doing aerials and the magazines showed the pictures and stuff, everybody was following that direction, you know. You know, it might have started just with the frontside air, but I'm telling you, from there, it went to like inverts, it went to like indie airs, lean airs, backside airs, mute airs, you know, just everything went into the air. You know, inverts became a very big part of like the 70s style skateboarding was, so it just started with that frontside air, basically. Everybody wanted to skate pools, everybody wanted to do an aerial in a pool, everybody wanted to skate like Dogtown guys. Everybody wanted to wear the same kind of clothes we wore, use the words, the graphics, everything. We created a trend, but we also created a direction by revolutionizing skateboarding and taking it to the next limit. The next limit, from the streets to the banks to the pools, that was where the steps were going. And basically the steps that went to where we went were what eventually skate park designers started looking at to design skateboard parks, which today is the state of the art, is concrete skateboard parks, you know?
Quando estes garotos de uma região pobre de Venice, Califórnia, começaram a andar de skate há 40 anos atrás, eles não tinham nenhuma pretensão ou noção do impacto que iriam causar no skate e no mundo.
Como o Tony diz, esta é a beleza de se viver o momento. Enquanto estiver sendo fiel ao seu coração, as coisas acabam dando certo. É incrivelmente motivador ver uma pessoa como Tony Alva, que esteve no topo e fez de tudo com seu skate, e aos 53 anos ainda é apaixonado pelo esporte que o consagrou. Tony Alva representa muito mais que o skate. Ele representa a ideia que as possibilidades são infinitas.
Quer saber a opinião de Tony sobre os skatistas brasileiros ou qual é o seu dinossauro favorito? Então acesse o blog da MTV Sports, que lá tem a entrevista na íntegra.